A perverted and deviant convicted offender, Dundee Animal and Child abuser, Stacey Harris, has been incarcerated after 8 pets were abandoned to perish in a deplorable flat. Stacey Harris, 39, was sentenced to 8 months in prison and received a lifelong prohibition on dog ownership at Dundee Sheriff Court on Tuesday, July 29. Backyard breeder Stacey Harris abandoned 2 adult dogs and a litter of puppies to die slowly from starvation after cohabiting with a new man who knew that the animals were without food and water. Mother of 4 Stacey Harris, characterised in court as unfeeling, indifferent, and lacking remorse, entered a guilty plea to 7 counts of animal cruelty concerning 8 severely neglected dogs and puppies that were allowed to starve for 2 months following her abandonment of them. She was not charged or convicted with child neglect, or charges of allowing the children to cohabit with a convicted sex offender. In October 2024, the Scottish SPCA, initiated an investigation following concerns regarding the well-being of Stacey Harris's canines. An SPCA inspector reported, "We received a complaint that a property had been abandoned and the dogs inside had not been attended to for over a week. From outside the home, we could see an emaciated Sharpie-type dog with visibly infected eyes. Inside, we were met with an overwhelming smell of feces and urine. The entire property was littered with dog feces, rubbish, and debris. One of the dogs, a tan and white American bulldog, Coda, pictured, was so malnourished it could not walk and had to be carried out. The remains of a deceased dog were found stuck in an upstairs bedroom doorway. 3 emaciated Sharpie-type dogs were removed from the property using specialist equipment. Sadly, due to the severity of their untreated conditions, they were later euthanized on welfare grounds. The second bedroom was full of dog feces, empty dog food bags and rubbish. This was where the body of a deceased Sharpie cross-type dog was found lying on the floor. A veterinary examination confirmed the American bulldog was extremely underweight, with her ribs, spine, and hip bones clearly visible. She had recently given birth and was suffering from dehydration and skin and ear infections that would have developed over several weeks. 2 dead dogs, one a Sharpie cross and the other unidentifiable, were taken for post-mortem examination, which confirmed they had died from prolonged starvation. The bodies of a 12-year-old Chihuahua called Dex and a 1-year-old Sharpie were never found and were presumed eaten. Sentencing Harris, Sheriff Tim Nivensmith told her, "If you left a 6-month-old baby in the house for 2 months, you could hardly say, 'I didn't realize he or she would die.' Your explanation to the author of the social work report that you moved in with your partner and intended to go to the tenancy to feed your dogs but life took over is not a proper explanation, especially where that partner lived in Dundee. You would easily have the financial means to travel to and from the property by bus." The sheriff added, "Your actions displayed a cold, callous contempt for those dogs. It's altogether clear, absent expert testimony, just how agonizing a death Cash and Vito endured. I don't consider you are genuinely remorseful and seem to have done everything to prioritize yourself. You attempted to blame one of your children for failing to feed and water them despite acknowledging you had not asked your son to feed and water them." Speaking after the sentencing, the SPCA inspector added, "This was an extremely distressing case where multiple animals suffered unnecessarily for a prolonged period which could have been easily avoided by contacting an animal welfare organization for help if needed. It is hard to comprehend how any individual cannot attend to their own pets knowing they were locked up in a property." As a result, the Scottish SPCA and the inspector involved are very pleased with Harris's sentencing and hope it acts as a deterrent to others. It is strongly recommended that Stacey Harris is not left unsupervised with children or animals, although it is likely that she will get back supervision of her children, which will be a disaster for them.